And we are live, Facebook Live. And that's the topic. How to be a Facebook Live rock star, even if you're shy, even if you're on the quiet side, even if you're terrified of standing in front of a camera. Pretty good topic. And it's a very relevant topic for marketers because live streaming has become a big thing. And I reckon it's going to get even bigger. And Facebook Live is right up there. They're kind of dominating at the moment. I know YouTube has started a live streaming service as well, but I don't think they're going to compete very effectively with Facebook. Yeah. So that's it. So how can you become a rock star or a mini rock star or a budding rock star, even a pretend rock star? Okay. You don't have to be a Gary Vaynerchuk or anything like that. Just within your own little circle, you can become your own best rock star, okay? A mini celebrity, if you like. Even if you've only got 50 people following you, something like that, okay? Now, this page, Million Dollar Tribes, is a new page, all right? So I've only got, what, 230 or 40 followers, likes, if you like. And I usually don't get that much interaction, live interaction, when I'm doing a call on this page compared to, say, my personal profile. Like I did one on my personal profile yesterday, and I had a lot of interaction on the call live, okay? But in time, it changes, and it doesn't matter. It's good practice. So before I give you my little formula on how to overcome the fear and just get a little bit better at doing these lives, let's look firstly at why you should do the live program, why you should get involved with it. And I think probably the biggest thing is, of course, to build your brand. That's the first thing. Build your brand, build your authority, build your presence. Here's the beautiful thing about Facebook Live at the moment. It could change in the future, but right now you've got a big advantage. And that is Facebook is favoring live. They're favoring it. So if you can get a bit of engagement happening on the live call, or even some engagement happening thereafter in a day or two or three after the call, Facebook will keep boosting the live. It will keep boosting that post. And sometimes they'll show it to people who aren't even your friends or your fans or whatever. They'll move beyond your current circle of friends. Isn't that exciting? I think it's fantastic. All right, now it looks like we've got a couple of people here already. We've got Mike. G'day, Mike. I'm talking to you the last hour or so. Delroy, hey, rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. How you doing, Delroy? Where are you from? The name like Delroy, I reckon you'd be from the US of A. That'd be right, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right. So it's doing video, particularly live video, is great for improving your posture, your credibility, your authority. It'll help you attract more people. Build your tribe. I call them tribes. Build your tribes because you're able to connect with people with your voice, visually, hand movements, all of that, right? People get to know you better. This is not to denigrate text, because I love using text. I use text to generate leads, text-based posts, content. I use text to generate leads. I use text to establish my own authority and credibility. So text still has a really important place. But lives are exciting. It takes it to another level, and invariably you end up getting more engagement with a live than you will with a photograph, a piece of text or something like that. Okay, so it works very well. All right, what have we got here? Let me have a check. Yeah, United Kingdom. Oh, yeah, UK. Oh, sorry, mate. Where are you from in the UK? London or North Country? Whereabouts are you? I lived in London for 5 years, so I know it fairly well. I'll let you answer that. Okay, so back to the live. This topic of the live. Now, of course, people intellectually understand the value of doing live broadcasts, particularly if they're marketers or you're building a business. They understand the value of it, but a lot of people have mental roadblocks about it. They feel that they're not good enough. They don't have a big enough following. You know, like I said, maybe they're kind of shy. All right. Now, I had the same feeling. I'm a bit of a latecomer to the Facebook Live thing. I'm a latecomer. I'm not somebody who embraced it straight away. In fact, I hated it. I got to tell you that I hated it. But then again, I hated the idea of speaking in public for years and years and years. And I finally overcame it. I broke the back of the fear by finally accepting an invitation to talk in front of a group of marketers in the offline world, right? And this would have been about 20 years ago. So I had a lifelong fear of public speaking. So that was a fear that I had to overcome. All right. And then I had a fear of picking up the phone and making calls to leads. I had to overcome it because I wanted the result. I wanted to make some sales from calling those leads. And 10,000 phone calls later, I think I've overcome the problem. Okay. And then YouTube. I opened a YouTube channel, but I had to stand in front of a camera and I had to overcome the fear once again, and I hated it. I hated standing in front of a camera, even though it was going to be recorded and I could edit. If I made a mess up, I could edit. If I stuttered and stammered, I could edit that out so people wouldn't notice it because it wasn't live, right? It was going to be recorded and then I could fix it up and make it look better. And if it was bad, I could discard it and the next day I'll try again. I keep doing it over and over again, but it still gave me the heebie-jeebies. It really did. Just standing in front of a camera and talking, even for 5 minutes, was a challenge, a real challenge. That was a challenge. Speaking in front of a live audience, face-to-face, in the offline world, that was a challenge. Picking up the phone to phone leads and people who are interested in whatever it was that I was promoting, that was a huge challenge. The phone was like it felt like I imagine it as being like a very heavy block of lead. I couldn't lift it up. I couldn't lift that little phone up to make that call. Right? That's how bad it was. I was the sort of guy that would travel halfway across town to see someone rather than pick up the freaking phone. So I've had plenty of fears. All right. So now we come to live, the Facebook Live revolution. And in a way, it is a bit of a revolution, isn't it? Live streaming. Of course, Netflix, they're live streaming 24/7, aren't they? They're live streaming. Facebook Live, okay, this gives us an opportunity to live stream using our innate ability to connect with people. But even then I felt uncomfortable with it. Even though I overcome all of those fears, public speaking, phone, picking up the phone, all of that, and standing in front of a camera recording a bit of footage. Even though I overcame all of those, I was still uncomfortable with live. Why? It was live. I couldn't hide my mistakes. With the recording, when I was recording for YouTube videos, yeah, I could hide my mistakes. I could just discard that recording and do another one. Or I could edit out the bloopers and the mistakes. Sometimes I left them in just for a joke anyway. But live, man, it's like live TV. You see these TV shows where they're live, anything can happen, you know, but I admire them. And we've got to do the same thing with the Facebook Live. We've got to do the same thing, haven't we? We've got to kind of get over it, get over the fear and just do it. Just do it. So look, I avoided it for a couple of years and last year I finally started to dabble with it. I dabbled a little bit with it. I'd do one, right? And it was okay. I knew it wasn't great. It was okay. And then I'd leave it alone for 3 or 4 weeks and then I'd jump back in the water again, right? It was okay again, nothing great. Actually, I remember the first one, I had a prop. I thought, okay, I'll have a prop so that it kind of takes the attention off me, I guess. You know what the prop was? It was my guitar. It was my guitar. I have a jazz guitar, okay? It's a very expensive guitar. So I thought, okay, I'll bring on my jazz guitar and I'll play a couple of licks or something like that, right? And people liked it. They liked it. But then I thought about it later. I thought, well, I'm a marketer. I'm building a business here. The guitar, You know, it's kind of an excuse not to get into the message that I want to deliver to people. So I stopped using that kind of prop. I have used other props. Sometimes I'll grab my bottle of water. See, I've got a bottle of water here. Get a bit thirsty, I drink that. I've shown people my microphone. Someone said to me, what sort of microphone are you using? I've shown that to them. I use different props like that, but I don't want to get away from the main topic. And the same with you. Don't get away from the main topic. But I would say, look, you want to try the live. You want to get better at the live. Well, just jump in. Do something. Do something, even if it's only like 3 minute bit of nonsense. Okay, but then gradually you'll want to pick some topics, and you'll want to think more strategically about what you're doing. And the topics, well, they're going to be the same sort of topics that you would choose if you're writing a piece of text. If you're writing a text-based post. They're going to be the same types of topics that you would choose if you were asking a question and you're posting it on your personal profile or in a group or something like that. You'd ask a question. It'd be a specific question that would relate to your niche. So nothing really changes with live compared to other forms of content. You've got to drill down, ask the questions. What are the pain points that people are suffering, experiencing? What keeps them awake at night? What are their hot buttons? What turns them on? What gets them excited? What stresses them out? Okay, and the answers will depend on your niche, won't they? Your industry. So if you want to ask a question, okay, I'll try and answer it for you based on your niche. But I don't know your niche at the moment. But if I knew it and I did some brainstorming with you, probably come up with a bunch of pain points, a few hot buttons, things like that. Okay? And then you can start creating titles for content ideas. Just a headline. That's what I do. Like this topic here. How to be a Facebook Live rock star even if you're shy. Okay, that was a title. I just came up with that yesterday. I thought, okay, that'll be my title. And then I've got to think about the topic itself. How am I going to flesh it out? What am I going to say? Do I write down some bullet points? Last thing you want to do if you're doing a Facebook Live or any kind of video presentation, last thing you want to be doing is reading from a script. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because it won't be authentic and it won't be interesting and entertaining. So you've got to kind of speak from the heart in one sense, but at the same time you need to have a little bit of a structure. Now, what I used to do is that I would have a structure written down. Okay, so I'd have some key bullet points, and I'd have it written in large text, and I'll just stick it onto my laptop. I'm broadcasting from my laptop. Okay, I'd stick it onto like Post-it notes, and so I might have 4 points that I want to cover. And then as I cover one point, I tear off the Post-it note and throw it on the floor, right? So I don't get mixed up and do it again. And then I go to the second one, the second point that I want to make. And I talk around the point. I don't want to read off notes, and you shouldn't do that either. You just need bullet points. Now what I tend to do, unless it's a longer Facebook Live, more like a training Facebook Live, okay, then I might have a PowerPoint presentation. I might have something more structured, a bit more formal. But when it's just a little informal chat like this one, okay, might be a 10-minute, 15-minute kind of job. All right. Now I don't need to write down the notes. I don't need to write down the key points, which forms part of the structure. I just memorize it. I know basically in my head where I'm traveling with this thing. Okay. So I gave a little bit of a story about myself, about my experiences with fronting people, getting in front of people or talking to people on the phone, or it's all about us and them, isn't it? Right. So I shared those experiences. I started out by selling the virtues to you of Facebook Live. So if you've been hesitating using it, don't hesitate. Just get in there and start doing something stupid, just like I did with that first one with my guitar. Right? I didn't really have any purpose. I didn't have a clue how to run a Facebook Live. I didn't have a sort of a business intention there. It was just, hey, I just want to say something. I just want to get some practice in. So I brought my guitar in because I thought, oh, I'll play some music if I run out of words to say. You see what I'm saying? Okay, just anything. Just do something silly. Doesn't matter. Just get into the swing of it. Get used to it. But if you want to use it for business, okay, you've got to move to the next level. And that's tougher because that's going to be about content, and it's got to be smart content. It's got to be content that absolutely hits the spot with your audience, whether it's a live audience or whether it's people watching the replay. Most of the people that see my lives watch the replay, particularly on this page because it's a new page. I don't have enough of a following yet. On my personal profile, okay, I get a lot more live interaction, but it doesn't matter. And by the way, it does not matter if you don't get one live interaction. It doesn't matter. It's still good practice for you. All right. You may need to read your notes to start with on your Facebook lives. Yeah, you may need to do that. You may need to do that, but don't make it look like you're just kind of reading it off like a script, because it lacks flow. It lacks a bit of authenticity. You're better off, as I said, just write down bullet points and talk around each bullet point. So one bullet point may take you 2 minutes to cover. So can you talk what's that word? Extra, oh, well, I've forgotten it. But can you kind of ad-lib? Can you ad-lib from one bullet point for 2 minutes? Yeah, you can do that. And if you can't, okay, well, perhaps you need to practice before you do your live. See? I've got a lot of knowledge and wisdom. I've been internet marketing for 12 years and I quit the rat race after just under 2 months. So I've got a lot of success behind me. I've got a lot of learnings behind me. I've learned a heck of a lot. I've made some errors along the way. Of course, everybody does. But I've had some tremendous successes as well. And so I've got a lot to draw on. So it's easier for me. If you're just starting out as a marketer and you haven't, you're not coming from a marketing background, you haven't promoted, maybe you're a coach or something like that, and you haven't promoted your service online on social media platforms, okay, for you it's going to be perhaps a little bit more of a challenge. So you've got to do a bit more preparation, a bit more rehearsal. But I think you've got to have the bullet points, and you might have 3 or 4 bullet points, something like that, and you've got to be able to talk in a casual, relaxed way for about 2 minutes for each bullet point, something like that. And as you get more confidence, okay, maybe you'll be able to talk for 5 minutes for each bullet point. So if you've got 4 bullet points, you talk for 5 minutes, that's 20 minutes. If you can only talk for 2 minutes on each bullet point, okay, that's 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Now, one thing you need to know about a Facebook Live is that very short Facebook Lives are probably not going to work for you, okay? Because the longer the live runs for, the more likely it is that 1 or 2 or more people are going to jump onto the live. Now, even if they only jump onto the live for a couple of minutes, it doesn't matter. It feeds the Facebook algorithm, and that will therefore mean that your reach will be expanded, okay? Whereas if you do the live very quickly, like a 2-minute live or a 3-minute live, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the Facebook algorithm. All right, so it's important that I think you've got to have your live running for say a minimum of 10 minutes. A minimum of 10 minutes. All right. So yeah. Okay. Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Wow, I haven't spoken to you for a while, seen you for a while. Love that drawl. Hey, some of my best clients, you're in the north, I think, but some of my best clients, people I'm working with, students, etc., they're in Louisiana and all the rest of it. And I say the same thing to them. I say, oh, I love your drawl, right? And they say the same to me. Oh, I love your drawl. So I've got an Aussie drawl, although it's more internationalized now because I've been, I've been to a lot of countries and I've experienced many parts of the world, but still got the Aussie accent. So I guess we've all got our own idiosyncrasies when it comes to accent and all the rest of it. But look, Facebook Live, have just the people that I've got on this call, how many have you been doing Facebook Lives? Have you tried doing it yet? And how did it go? How did it go? And how many have you done? Did you do more than one or just the one? How many? Get a little bit of interaction here. That'd be great. Okay. Yeah, a minimum of 10 minutes. Yes, a minimum of 10 minutes. 10 to 20 minutes, I think, is good. Now, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live next week. Actually, you might want to plug into this one. I'm going to be doing a Facebook, and this will be like a full-on training. Okay, so this one will go for about an hour, and I'm going to run this one from my group. I'm not going to run it from my $1 Million Tribes business page. I'm going to run it from my group, and I'm just tossing up. I've told the people in the group that it's going to be about high-ticket marketing, how to package and promote high-ticket products and services, but I may defer that topic for a week or two and insert another topic that will help to prepare people for the high ticket topic. And the topic that I might go with next week, something more about like attraction marketing, how to use some of these techniques, Facebook Lives and all sorts of other techniques that I'm doing now to build your tribe, build your warm audience, and generate some warm leads, even hot leads. That's the name of the game. Any fool can generate cold leads. You can buy cold leads from lead vendors, but they're cold, very tough to convert. Warm to hot leads, much, much easier, much, much easier. Conversion rate goes through the roof. And so what I do is I build warm audiences. That's the thing that I love to do. I love to build warm audiences. Audiences that consist of responsive people. People are kind of like me. They sort of enjoy my content and so on. And then at various times, I'll make some kind of an offer. And when I make that offer, people that reply and respond to the offer, they're generally going to be the hottest leads. So that's where you need to be if you're not there already. You need to be at that point where you're generating a steady, not spectacular, but a steady flow of warm to hot leads. Why? Because they're the leads that convert the easiest. And that's what we want, don't we? We don't want to be hitting our head against a brick wall trying to make money because we're talking to the wrong people who don't know us, they don't respect us, there's no authority, you've got none of that happening for you. So I'm thinking that it might be better if I run this topic, which will incorporate not just the older stuff that I've been doing, but some of these hot new strategies that I've been doing this year. And boy, some of them work so well. And yes, Facebook Live will be part of the mix there. So I'm thinking of doing that next week, and then I can run the other topic maybe a week or two after. Now, if you'd like to, and that'll be this one that I run next week will be free, so they're not charging for it. But if you want to participate, you need to be a member of my group, and it's Tribe Builder Community. So you can say yes, and I'll send you a link or something like that, or you can just send me a personal message. I don't care, and I'll add you to the group, and then you'll see the notifications for that training. It will be pretty good. It will be pretty good. It'll be a structured training. It won't be kind of free form like this one. This is free form. This one is free form with structure, but the one I'll run next week will be much more like a lesson, right? And so we'll go into a lot more detail. All right. Okay. What you mean, Kathy? Are you kidding? No way. What do you mean by that? Riley, we've got 22 comments already. Now up to 23. Woo! Love it. Give me some more, folks. Give me some love. Give me a heart. Come on. Come on. It's Easter. It's almost Easter. Easter Friday tomorrow. Yeah. I won't be on Facebook tomorrow. So give me some love before Easter. Give me a heart or something like that. That'd be lovely. And Facebook will say, oh, they like this Kim Willis guy. Yes, so look, that's basically it. I just wanted to give you a bit of an idea as to how to overcome your fear. I think, look, like any fear, think of any fear of heights, fear of spiders. Yes, I still got fear of spiders. I'm happy to admit that. But most fears can be overcome, right? Fear of strange foods, fear of strange people, fear of foreigners. We have all sorts of strange fears. You know, so it's like any fear. If it's important to you, you just make the decision to overcome it. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Make the decision. Most people never make the decision. They say, oh, I'd like to overcome the fear, but having wishing and wanting that you want to overcome the fear is not quite the same as making the decision. It's like Bob Proctor said, he's talking to people and he says, what is your big dream? And they say, oh, I want to travel the world first class, or I want to travel to Europe. right? Living in America. I want to travel to Europe. I want to go to France or something like that next year. And Bob says, oh, that's a good dream. Okay, have you made the decision to do it? And they say, oh, well, no, not yet. Right. Well, until you make the decision, nothing's going to happen. You've got to make the decision, because a decision suggests commitment, doesn't it? A decision suggests commitment, and that's what we're looking for. So I had to make the decision to overcome my fear of public speaking, because it was eating me up. It was killing me. My self-esteem. It was terrible, because I was allowing the fear to win out every time. So I had to do it. And yes, the first time I spoke in front of a crowd was a total disaster. A quarter of the room walked out on me. That's how bad it was. Right? Fear of the phone. Well, that was insane, because it was costing me a lot of money not to do it, not to pick up the phone and phone these leads that I was generating. Right? So in the end, it was just necessity. I had to make the decision. I did it. Fear of standing in front of the camera, doing those recorded videos for YouTube, my YouTube channel. I had to do it in the end. I had to do it. So same here. If you've got a fear of doing the live broadcasts, well, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and do it. It might be a bit scary. It might be uncomfortable. But what I found with the Facebook Live, once I'd done about 8 to 10 of them, it took me that long. It didn't happen after just 1 or 2. But after I'd done 8 to 10 of them, I was starting to feel a little bit comfortable about it. And I think I was kind of communicating in a much more natural way, just the way I normally am. If I was standing in a room with you right now, this is how I'd be talking to you. And by the way, I can talk quietly as well, don't get me wrong. And I can slow down and talk a bit slower if I was having a more of an intimate conversation with you. But with a Facebook Live, okay, it's a little bit more of a form. And so we got to sort of lift a bit, project better, etc. But not that much different to if I was having a conversation with you one-on-one in a room, face to face. So, like I said, I started to feel more confident and comfortable with it at about the 8 to 10 live mark. So this is why I kind of feel a little bit disappointed when somebody says, okay, they tried Facebook Live and it didn't work out for them. And I say, okay, well, how many did you do? I did 2. I said, what? 2? Try doing 10 or 20 and then tell me what you think about it. But make sure you underpin what you're doing with the sound strategy. That's important. I've seen some terrible Facebook Lives from people that should know better. They're talking about all sorts of weird and wonderful things that are not going to help them build their business. You've got to choose some topics. Sooner or later, you're going to have to choose some topics that are specific to your business, to your audience, to your niche. That's right. And then you start building your tribe. You start building a following. And some of the people are going to really like what you're saying. Once you can bring out that voice, that internal voice, because I believe that everybody has something worthwhile to say. Everyone has a special journey. We call it the hero story, the hero journey. I teach people how to do that, how to create their own hero story narrative, right? Everyone's got one. Even people who've led what they would say very small lives. Everyone has been a hero at some point in their life. Everyone. And so you can feed these kinds of stories into your Facebook Lives, but just be a little bit strategic about it. But initially, I'd say just do the first few, just have a bit of fun. You don't need to have a marketing purpose, a business purpose. Just have a bit of fun. Just say, hi, everybody. Just want to say I'm doing my first live. Give me some love. Give me a bit of a thumbs up. That'd be great. Really appreciate it. Today, I just want to show you what I'm about. Anything. New camera. Show you my new camera. What do you think of it, guys? What do you think of it? So, right, just the kind of social content to start with. But once you've got a little bit of confidence going, then you need to become much more strategic and business-like. But it won't be so bad then, because you've got yourself a bit of confidence happening. A bit of confidence is starting to flow just because you did some fun lives, some social lives. You're reading a book. There's another idea. You're reading a book and you love this book, right? And you're halfway through it. Why don't you just make some notes of some of the key points, the key things that you learned from the book, and just show them the book. Say, here's my book. I'm reading this book. It's a great book. I recommend it. I'm halfway through it. And here are 5 things that I learned from this book so far. And then, okay, that gives you, you can read those 5 things. Or you can have post-it notes for each of the 5 pages that you're extracting these key points. And that's okay. It's okay to read from a book because it's within context. That makes sense, okay? So you just read the titles and say, I like this title because, right? And then you go to the next little bookmark. You say, here's the next thing that I got from this book, right? I like this title because, and you read it out. I like this title because, and so on, right? So just something like that. In fact, that was just pure ad lib. I think that's a pretty good idea. I've not done that before. I think I might do that. Only problem is I'm not reading a book at the moment, but I'm reading some pretty good articles in business magazines and so on. So same thing. If you've read a really good article, why don't you feature it on a Facebook Live? See, so that means that most of the content is coming from that particular piece, that particular item. So you didn't have to create it. You didn't have to worry about that. So you just highlight the sentences that look good to you and just read them out to people and then say, this is why I liked it. See, content ideas are everywhere. People say, oh, what can I do for content? Oh, my goodness. There's just millions and millions of content ideas. What you've got to do is narrow them down and make them relevant for your audience. So you start doing things like that, then you get excited about doing your Facebook Lives because you're excited about your topic. And you know what I found? The more excited you get about a particular topic or a particular idea, the more excited you get, the less your fear will be. The less your fear will be. And let's not forget the ACT formula. And I'll leave you with this. ACT. You know what that stands for? That's an acronym. Do you know what it stands for? ACT. 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 Action conquers terror. ACT, right? Action conquers terror. So in the beginning, taking any action, almost any action, is good. It's good. There's no real downside to it. Even if you make a bit of a fool of yourself, it doesn't matter. You'll learn from it. The next time you do it, you'll be less of a fool. All right? You'll be less of a fool. And you'll just get better with it. And people will laugh with you. Let them laugh with you. But if you want to reduce the risks of making a complete mess of it, take on board that idea I just gave you. That's gold. A book, an article, something like that. Even you watched a YouTube video on a topic that you think will help your audience. Just note the key points, write them on a piece of paper and just read out the key points. And each point you say, the reason why I like this point is blah, 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 blah. And then you go to the next point. So you didn't create the content, did you? You got it from a YouTube video. You got it from an article. I've got one. I've got to write a little post about it, but it's not here. It's in another room. But it's a post. It's a topic. It's not strictly about marketing, although it does impact marketers and people who are building businesses. It's about decluttering, and I have a very strong interest in this topic, decluttering, because I think a lot of the reason why so many people who are trying to market products and services online fail is because they haven't removed all of the clutter. They've still got a lot of clutter, and clutter causes a mess. Clutter causes lack of focus. And when we're not focused, we don't have crystal clear clarity. And when we don't have crystal clear clarity, guess what we don't have? Confidence. Confidence and belief. And without confidence, we're toast. We're nothing. You've got to have the confidence. So this article, I thought, okay, I'll write a little post about it. Like a summary of this article that I read about decluttering, because it was good. It was really good. There were some terrific standout points in there. But now that I've been talking to you guys, I'm thinking, well, why don't I do it as a Facebook Live? I'll just highlight the key points with a yellow, pen, yellow highlighter pen, and then I'll read them out and I'll just talk a little bit around each point. I'll ad-lib a little bit around each point, but the core topics or the subtopics will come from someone else. See, I didn't have to create it. I didn't have to write those points. So I think I will do that. And you'll probably, if you tune in next week, you'll probably see me do it, that very thing. And you'll see how I do it. And I will have the article, it's a magazine article, right? I'll have the article in front of me and I'll hold it up. That'll become a prop, a tool. I'll hold it up. I'm happy to do that. It's okay to read from an article because the article was written by an authority. and it's legitimate to honour an authority. It takes the pressure off you. Okay, so that's my idea for me, but it's also an idea for you. It'll help you get into the game. It'll help you get into the Facebook Live game. Just start doing something and do it as soon as you can. Clutter, I have confidence to be a nurse, as I am one. Yes, of course, you do it every day of the week. You get well, not every day, Kathy, but you do it when you're on there, and you've been doing it for a very long time. I know that. We had a Skype call. When was that? Gee, was that last year or the year before last? Time gets away. But I think it was last year. And yeah, because you're doing it every day. So with this internet marketing thing, it doesn't feel comfortable because it's not your job. It's not the normal thing that you do, and you're not doing it every day. So you don't feel comfortable with it. And, for me to then suggest to you that you try doing a Facebook Live, wow, that's even worse. That's even worse. A lot of marketers find it difficult even to write a paragraph of niche-specific text for their social media platforms. They find it difficult. So if they find it difficult doing that, how much more difficult is it going to be to do a Facebook Live? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, a challenge. That's right. So, well, look, you've got to, with marketing, my thing is that you've just got to fall in love with it, and you've got to embrace it as a passion. I've had a passion for marketing for a very long time, certainly well before the online adventure started. I love marketing. I think, to me, it's fascinating. And if I can infect you with my enthusiasm, great. I'm happy about that. Become a keen student of marketing and devour it every day. And then you'll internalize some of it. And that makes it just so much easier to do a Facebook Live or to create other types of content. Okay? But if you're not living it every day, if you're not reading it, studying it, talking to people about it, thinking about it, just obsessed about it almost, it's going to be your progress as an online kind of person is going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult. I've done well because I had a love for marketing in the first place. That's one of the reasons why. So, look, anyway, enough about getting off on a bit of a tangent now. I think I shall close this. The topic was how to become a Facebook Live rock star, even a mini rock star, okay, even a baby rock star, even if you've only got 30, 40, what you might call followers or friends or something like that, okay, within that little space there, why don't you become a little bit of a rock star within that little group of people, okay? Do that, all right? First step is to start doing some lives. Do some simple ones, do some easy ones. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Have a bit of fun. Have a few props, you got a microphone, pull up your microphone. Do all sorts of things. A book, anything at all you want to show people. And just talk from the heart and, use other people's content. Just read it out a little bit and say what you thought about it. You could ask people questions and that'll help to get a bit of engagement happening as well. And by the way, final thing, make sure you promote your live. If you're doing it on your personal profile, promote your live, put up a post about maybe 3 hours before the live, something like that, okay? Do that, all right? Now, I didn't do it for this one because this one was kind of spontaneous. I made a decision only about an hour or two ago, and it was going to be too late. But that's what you should do. If you're going to do the live thing, okay, do it on your personal profile to start with. Let people know that it's going to be happening and what the topic is going to be about. Okay, so that may mean that you'll get a few people on the live right from the get-go, and that would be good. All right, any parting comments from you guys before I leave? Who else? Yeah, okay, embrace it as a passion, absolutely, and thanks, and you rock too, Kathy. And now tell me if I'm right, Kathy, just see how is my memory still working? You're from the Northeast, aren't you? Tell me if I'm wrong or right. Am I right? You're from the Northeast. Yeah? You're from the Northeast, Kathy? I thought it was kind of New York State or something like that. Oh, look, we got other people here. Med. Hi, Med. How you doing? Okay, warmed up leads. All right, there's some good comments there. That's great, guys. Love it. Maybe I should run another one this time. next week. We'll see. Okay, well, anyway, I don't know whether Kathy has answered me about where she lives. I'm just, yeah, Jazz. Look, I'll reply to these comments. I'll reply to these comments after the live. Now, if you're watching the replay, of course, don't forget, I'm going to be running this topic, this big topic, well, this great topic next week in my Facebook group. So if you want to join that training, it'll go for an hour or so. Okay, so it's a kind of a serious training, and I think it's going to be about how the best and latest ways to generate warm to hot leads from your warm audience. Okay. And so I'm going to be covering some of the older strategies, but also some of the new ones that I've been using this year with. I'm getting some pretty good results. So I will do that. If you want to be on that, you plug into my group next week. If you're not in my group, it's called Tribe Builder Community. You can just let me know, ping me, or say yes in the comments box here, and I shall give you I'll add you to the group. I'll give you the link, whatever. Okay, folks, I'll reply to these comments later, but I'll say goodbye now. Time for me to go and do my walk. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a good Easter. Good Easter. Yeah.